Hello, my name is Walid Obad, and this is my media vlog. As you can see, before starting the actual recording of a 5-minute local radio news bulletin, which is our main task, we must do some secondary research. Now, in order to do this, I went on FutureLearn. This is a course of study which is made available for a lot of people over the internet without having to pay any upfront costs. It's a free course which is run by professionals themselves, which just offers advice and some teaching on how to perform specific things. As you can see, in week 1 of the course, it was all about journalism, and the course entailed me to sign up and recognize what it would be delivering to me, which was some skills which I can use in my production. Now, in the first week, we learned about what news is and how to really distinguish between a good quality news story and a poor one. And we also learned where and how to begin researching a story, so what news would be appropriate to broadcast on the news and what would really make it different from all the others. We also learned how to interview people in a way which matches their position and the type of information we want from them. So if we were to find out a particular answer and wanting to find out a particular answer, we would know how to do that. Now, before starting the main task, I had to look at codes and conventions of a local radio news bulletin in general. I found out that this was a loud jingle and a greeting from the listener usually happens. The presenter then also introduces topics in which are coming up in the news broadcast, and also sometimes people have experts that come in and talk about the specific topic. Now, to do this, I went on BBC and I went on radio, and this is basically a screenshot showing the 40 radio stations situated around England. For my first analysis, I went on BBC Shropshire and found a local radio news bulletin, and I analysed it in terms of its codes and conventions, the jingle, the timing of the broadcast, and also audience familiarity, which is a crucial code and convention because it maintains a personal bond between the audience and the presenter himself. Now, I found 5 codes and conventions for the first one, and for my second one, which was BBC London, I showed a map also which represents the region of London, which is about here. And I also analysed it in terms of its codes and conventions. After that, I went on to news values. I had to find out that in news values there are a lot of key elements which makes a news broadcast, such as timeliness. This is because of news is an aspect of our life which really changes according to different events which go on, and it is important for a good news story to be featured in a certain time to have good impact on the audience. I found out about proximity and unusualness, also bad news, which is when tragedies also happen, and the impact in which a local news broadcast has on the audience. Also, I found out that a key news value are celebrities and elite people, and if elite people are involved in the news story, it will be more likely for it to blow up because they're more recognized and they have a lot of fans. Found out the 5 W's of journalism, what is going on, who is doing that, who is affected, when is it happening, where is it happening, and why. And after that, I analysed a news broadcast in terms of its news values. As you can see from this table, shows the different headings or elements of news values. Now, understanding audience is a key topic in which to learn about before creating my local radio news bulletin, because it's really important to know how to measure people in terms of their age, ethnicity, gender, orientation, social class, location, the region that they live in, disabilities, and potentially religious backgrounds and cultures. Now, this helps in creating my local radio news broadcast because it will serve a crucial role in the production as the research we conduct will technically allow us to understand our audience, to produce content which is suitable to them. I found out that making a good news story, which should should have facts, faces, voices, and information which is relative and which people can learn from. After that, I researched about Stuart Hall, who was a Jamaican, and he really made theories and was a sociologist and worked professionally in the UK. Hall conducted many researches on race and gender, and it really gave us an insight on incorporating new ideas on the work of French theorists. Ultimately, Stuart concluded that different things are interpreted differently based on the demographic, and this can be different to people who have a different gender or race or whatever be. I also learned about encoding and decoding, and I then went on to preferred negotiating and oppositional reading, and this is when the audience reacts to the message in which the encoder has sent the way the encoder would like to be interpreted. This is preferred reading. And negotiated reading is when the reader agrees but still can find some points of weakness or can disagree in some ways. And oppositional is when the audience are literally in complete disagreement. After that, I went on Raja and Ofcon. As you can see from the table below, my research into audiences in relation to BBC Essex, I used to analyse the number of people which are listening to different radio news broadcasts, and I found that the image signifies that the population in Essex is 1.298 million, and there are only 180,000 people which listen to the radio in Essex, and BBC Essex only has a reach of about 14%, which isn't technically bad. However, it's not the best it could be, such as in other regions. And it also told me that the average hours of radio listened by each listener is 12.8 in Essex, and it's really extremely high. It's an extremely high statistics, telling me that although 14% of the population in Essex listens to the local radio news broadcast, they spend a considerable amount of time actually listening to them a week. And I found some really interesting facts in Raja, which told me that 90% of the population tune into radio every week, which is an extremely high statistic. Also, 21.7 average hours of radio are listened to by each user each week. After that, I went on to the hypodermic needle theory and the cultivation theory, which really, the hypodermic needle theory suggests that all media in which we are associated with is directly fed into the brains of us, the audience, which is passive, and it is accepted by everyone of the audience in the same way. Now, I don't completely agree with that, although that's what the theory is. Now we went on to planning our local radio news bulletin over here, and we really found out about how to create a news story and what key elements are needed, such as a presenter and a guest and a reporter. On the 5th of November, I went to a film workshop which is run by Charles Gunn, a film critic, and originally, he first published adverts for trade publications, where he was really limited in the job he was doing. He then became a production editor for Culture magazine, which later led him on to become a film critic. And as he started the workshop, he told us that in order to be successful at writing, it is key to be really competent at grammar. So you must know your grammar and how to spell, how to use full stops, etc. And he mentioned a very important quote. Sorry about that. He mentioned a very important quote, which was, if you do not have good grammar, editors will simply take a look at your work and go on to the next piece of work. Which was really important because it just goes to show that grammar is really an important thing to have. And I also learned that although it is expensive, it is really important to have like an editor which can look over your mistakes. I found that really a helpful advice. And this shows my first week's blogging, which shows the news values and how we got our background noise. Also the editing which took place. As you can see here, I used many tools to edit our local radio news broadcast, a bit of it. And I used the editing tools in order to name the tracks. This would help me organize my tracks better and really help me when editing. And also the copy and paste, which is quite a simple yet really effective tool to use. And this has been my blog. My name is Walid Obad. Thank you very much for listening.